This is part 2 of the thing I was just talking about, because it said size limit reached. But, it was kind of her fault I'm in the situation I'm in right now. And I'm angry about it. And she feels absolutely horrible about it. And she's regretting the decision she made. She wanted to go to school. And I didn't want to go back to Austin. Be further away from my kids again. And not just that, just... I didn't like Austin. I like Fort Worth better. I know the area, Most of my life has been here or Amarillo. And, so I didn't want to move back, and I was in the process of getting the promotion at work when all this started. And, originally I thought the plan was to, just keep doing what we're doing. Once I get into a higher position, she could quit her job and then go to school full time. I wasn't opposed to her taking a few classes here and there until I got to that point, But that's what she wanted to do. And we had multiple arguments over it when we had our house together. And I always talked her out of it, because I always explained to her, why this is not a good idea and what's going to happen. Well, she had a wild hair up her ass and decided to do it anyways. And she got her mom involved so she wouldn't change her mind. So I couldn't change her mind. Talk some reason with her. So that lasted a very short time. And instead of moving in with her mother, she ended up moving in with her grandparents. And, her grandparents, now she's got this whole thing with her siblings that got taken up by CPS in a very wrong fashion. And Arizona's fucking stupid with their CPS laws. So the government of Arizona, y'all suck. But anyways, so now we're trying to find a place. She wants to get custody. Well, she can get custody of her siblings and get them back here to Texas. But we're going to need a stable place to live, which we did have one. But it's frustrating, I never really explained the reason why I'm living in my car. But this is kind of more of a this is kind of a video journal of my life. So I can't really leave this out. Because this is the essential part of why I'm in this situation that I'm in right now. So if anybody watching this, why is he living in his car? Watch this video and you'll know why. More than a month, almost a month into this series here. But I don't know. We're making it work. I'm still really hurt by the whole situation, because I didn't find out about any of this until she came and picked me up from work one night. I come home and her mom is there. And I still have no idea up until I realized that it's her mom that's there. I thought someone was just parking in our yard, in the front of our house, But no. And she was real quiet. And she was real quiet on the way home. I knew something was up. I kept asking her, what's wrong? What's wrong? What the hell's wrong? Why aren't you saying nothing? And she didn't want to tell me. She was afraid I'd talk her out of it again, which I would have. Because it was a bad idea for her, as she's now realizing. I do my best. She's my significant other. We're responsible for each other. That's how I feel when I'm in a relationship with somebody, They're the only one that I will let in on all this stuff that goes through my head. But it's just... Man. 6 years of our life, There's a big difference in age between us. She's very inexperienced in the world, and I'm trying to teach her everything I know. So if something happens to me, she will have the tools to take care of it. You know, I'm trying to teach her. And, you know, I've always put her well-being before mine. I mean, we argue, every couple argues, but, I mean, we really don't have a lot of real bad fights, and it's not constant, you know. I mean, I'd say 95% of the time we're really happy. Even through my depression and her depression, she's also suffering from it. You know, so it's not good, but we make it work. So, you know, and I think things are going good. I show up, and that's how I find out that she's leaving. At first, she was going to move in with her mom, which her mom absolutely hates me. First part of our relationship, me and her make a trip to Houston and then go through Amarillo. And her mom is like demanding a copy of my driver's license so that she can make a copy of it. So if something happens to her daughter, you know, she knows where to come to. But I'm like, I care more about your daughter than you probably do, honestly. I mean, I bend over backwards to make sure she's happy. You know, I do absolutely everything for her. Just as I tried to do with any of my other relationships. It's just who I am, you know. I dedicate myself to the person I'm with. You know. Now, in previous relationships and stuff, I've strayed, yes. But, they've strayed too. And most of the time, I don't stray unless I get strayed on first. With the exception of my second wife. But she was asking for those threesomes. And, you know, she kind of opened Pandora's box with those. She was like, oh, I want to have a threesome. And then we get into the threesome, and then she's not into it anymore. And then she gets upset because I continue the relations with the other girl after she's already said no. And I'm like, well, you opened the box, you know. So I'm just going to do what I do because it feels good. You know, it makes me less depressed. And I'm not getting it from you. So, you know, how that goes in relationships. You know, that was 5 years of hell. God, that was a bad relationship, honestly. I mean, we just weren't great for each other at all. And there was a lot of bad stuff in that relationship. But I'm not going to go into that. I'm not. I want to. And you know what? I probably will one of these days. I'm going to make a life video. Not a life video. I'm going to make a life series. Documenting my life. And this is the tail end of it. So, here's the last part. Or the current part. Because I'm still living life. I'm still here breathing. Don't know how. I'm still fucking here, though. I'm like a fucking cat. I have come close to death so many times. I've even died a couple times. And yet I'm still fucking here. Don't ask me how. I don't know. My parents say it's like, you know, I'm my guardian angel and stuff like that, but I'm not really a religious person, so maybe fate? Maybe? I do believe in fate, you know. God, this is a boring night. In case you can't tell, I mean, the first video was already 30 minutes. I'm already 8 minutes into this one, just telling this part of my freaking story. It's going to be fun to go back and watch all these at some point, I'm sure. I mean, I will not call these the best times of my life right now. You know. I've had plenty of good times, though. I mean, there have been parties and stuff. You know, we played beer pong. You know, there was actually a decent group of guys in Springtown at the Pizza Hut I worked at. We'd go and chill over at there. We went over there and had a couple parties with them, you know. We'd play beer pong and stuff like that. I actually really did enjoy doing that. But I'm such an awkward person, and I don't keep conversation that well because I'm like, ooh, shiny, you know. And I feel like I'm a burden to people. just by talking to them. I feel like I'm burdening them by talking to them, and I don't like to burden people. And I know that's probably not the case for most, I don't know. Honestly, I don't. I would like to assume that that's not the case for everybody. And I'm not a burden to people, but I can't help how I feel. Because a lot of times we'll sit there and have conversation, and then I'll just go silent. A lot of times when I just go silent and, I get lost in my brain, I get lost in my thoughts. It's not because I don't find whatever they're talking about interesting, not interesting. I get lost in my own thoughts, Get lost in my thoughts a lot. And it sucks. Because they're not good thoughts. They're not good thoughts at all. A lot of thoughts, it's been 15 years now. I still think about every day my daughter was in the hospital before she died, We had her for a month, and we only had her at home for 2 weeks before we actually had to admit her to the hospital. And even during that 2 weeks, she was in and out of the hospital because she couldn't keep food down. We didn't know why, And then we found out she had pyloric stenosis. And so she went in for surgery for that to get it fixed. It was supposed to be a real quick surgery, nothing. She was supposed to be fine after that. But she never woke up from surgery. They ran more tests and found out that she also had whooping cough. And they didn't know that. When they put her under for surgery, the virus for whooping cough took over and it just affected her. She never woke up after that. And that was 2 weeks. God. Sorry, I was just remembering the last time I saw her eyes open. Looking at me, holding my little finger. Right before she went into surgery, And then they kept pumping her full of fluids, and she bloated up like a balloon. Nothing they were doing was working. And they say ECMO, which is them taking out the old blood, putting in new blood. It's kind of like dialysis, except, And they're like, honestly, ECMO is the last ditch option. We'd prefer not to do this. Especially on an infant who's a month old. And the odds were not in her favor. And then she eventually, we had to make the choice to take her off life support. And everyone that was there, my family, friends, they all said it was the right choice. And it was, considering the fact she was, she had actually died while I was asleep, and they resuscitated her because they didn't have a DNR. So, and even during this trip in the hospital, I'm racing with my friends down the stairs, and I go too fast, and I ended up jumping from the top flight of the stairs all the way, and I almost make it, but my ankle catches the bottom 2 steps. And I just slip and fall, and I pretty much break my ankle. But not enough to where I couldn't walk on it. So when that happened, I got the warm feeling sensation in my ankle. I knew what it was. I've always had this ankle. My right ankle's always had problems. So, the night my daughter died, I was up in the hospital in pain because I had hurt my ankle that day. And, I would say this is, the people that were there for me at Pizza Hut were probably the last group of friends I actually made that were my friends. And that was like 2006, 2007. And they were there with me through all of that. You know, I don't really talk to any of them anymore. I'm still friends with maybe a couple on Facebook, but, you know, I don't really talk to any of them anymore. And I guess that situation is kind of, you know, it's a tough situation. But, you know, I actually work with one of the girls now in Fort Worth. We were in Graham at the time with a girl who was one of my co-workers' wife at the time, too. You know, I recognized her when I first went there, but I was like, God, I can't remember her name. But I know you. I do. And so, you know, she came up to me and it was like, she goes, used to live in Graham? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's where I know you from. So, I mean, that's a cool little coincidence. She's a cool person. I like her. But, her daughter would be about the same age as my daughter. We both had kids at the same time. So it's also kind of weird to see, like, you know, my daughter would be this old right now. I wonder what she'd look like. You know, those thoughts go through your head. The things that could have been, that you were preparing for 9 months when you find out you're having a baby. You know, proms, weddings. You get your kid's life all planned out before they're even born. You know, at first it's scary and you're like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. But then you just do it. And it just clicks. And you get excited about it. But, yeah. But, you know, I didn't want to take her off life support. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. Sorry, that's just how my brain works. Like I said, 1,000 miles a minute. It goes one place, but then it comes back. It's like a relay. I know it's exhausting. This is why I think I'm kind of a burden to talk to people. Like, I feel I burden people when I talk to them. But, you know, I do better in my own environment, where if I can find someone I can actually open up to and actually be myself with, you know. Because my girlfriend, she thinks I'm freaking hilarious and smart and funny, and I'm just like, I know I'm smart, I know I'm funny. I'm very weird. I do a lot of weird things. I have weird appetite. I'm a picky ass eater. You know, she still deals with all that. You know, I mean, I love this girl. That's why it's like, we're still doing this, you know. Because I didn't run to do a long distance relationship. I always talked her out of it because it's like, you're going to be miserable. I'm not going to be able to help take care of you. I'm not going to be able to look out for you like I could here, you know. Because I'm sorry, I'd probably be like that with anybody, honestly. I'd just protect them with my life. I'm more of a protector. That's what I've come to learn. I don't want people to feel like me. I don't want people to feel like this bad. So I'd like to try to protect them the best I can. Even a complete stranger, it doesn't matter. I'd put their life over mine any day of the week. And that's also probably because I don't value my life. You know. If I valued my life, I probably wouldn't have tried killing myself a few times. And then think about it a lot. But the fact is, they're still there and I still think about it. It's just a matter of... It's just a matter of trying not to, you know, let it get me. But yeah, I know this video is long, but you know what? I went like a week without posting a video, so I got some time to make up for. But I'm pretty much about to wrap it up. So thanks if anybody's watching this, thanks for sticking around and, let me talk to you a little bit, let you see what dealing with depression looks like firsthand, It's living in your car like dealing with depression at the same time. It's a little tough. It's a lot tougher than I remembered, to be honest. I was much younger at the time, too. I didn't even have a kid yet last time I lived in my car. So, this car's not as big as that one was, so it's a little bit more cramped, but, I'm old. I'm getting older. My body doesn't work the way it used to. Like, my ankle is still screwed. I went through rehab, and even for probably like another decade after that, every year I'd roll it somehow, and I'd fall flat on my face, and it would hurt for a little bit, and I'd just keep going. I mean, you look at my ankle, it's freaking swollen compared to the other ankle, and there's a little bone on the ankle that sticks out. I have a fracture right down the center of it, or at least that's what the doctor told me, and it's supposed to have healed. And I thought it did because I didn't have problems with it for a little bit. And then I started having more problems with it. And, I should probably go to a doctor to get it looked at. If nothing else, my knees, because I have bad knees. Bad back. I was a stupid kid and did a lot of stupid shit to my body. Most of my friends in Amarillo can attest to that. And they did the same stupid shit too. And they're feeling it as well. Y'all know who you are, because y'all know. But, hell, I doubt it. Probably any of them aren't going to actually watch these either, so. But if you do, you know who you are. God. It's actually been a nice day. I've actually had my car off most of the day. Yesterday I had to have it on almost all day. I had the air conditioner blowing because it was so fucking hot. Even in the shade, it felt like it was 120 degrees. But, see, here I go. Just going round and round. But I guess I have nothing else to add or say. If I think of something else, I'll just make another video. So what else am I doing? My girlfriend's at work. She don't get off till 12. It's like 10 o'clock at night right now, so I'm just sitting here chilling. Alright, well, this has been night 22. See you again another day. Peace.